Hello, welcome back to You Can Understand Shakespeare, because the fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, you can. That's what I'm here to help you with. My name is John Donovan, former English teacher, professional actor, and improviser, writer of my own Shakespearean tragedy, and I just freaking love what this guy writes. We are working on Romeo and Juliet, Act 4, Scene 4. We are towards the end of Act 4, almost there to the climax of this tragedy. If you've been, at this point, you've been watching so far, you get the drill. There's 3 P's, 3 obstacles, performance, poetry, prior knowledge, that prevent us from fully entering into Shakespeare's text. That's what I'm here to help you with. So, let's hop into it. We just left Juliet on her bed drinking this poison that's going to fake her death. And so we're going to see what's happening pretty much almost concurrently, if not immediately after, elsewhere in the house. So enter Capulet's wife and the nurse. Capulet's wife, hold. Doesn't mean hold these things, it means wait. Take these keys and fetch more spices, nurse. Nurse says, they call for dates and quinces in the pastry. And the pastry is the pastry kitchen, so they are those who are working there, and they're calling for dates, like the fruit, and quinces, which must be a pastry. I don't necessarily really know what that is. They're preparing for the wedding. Now remember, this is right after Juliet went to sleep, so to speak. So this is the middle of the night. So enters old Capulet and says, come, stir, 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 which means like move about, go, start acting. The second cock hath crowed. Cocks crow throughout the night, and so the first, second, or third cock is going to let you know what point of the night it is. You can think, for example, very famously in the Bible, when St. Peter is going to deny Jesus 3 times before the cock crows, or thrice before the cock crows twice, something like that. I should know that better. It denotes a time of the night, at which point it says, the curfew bell hath rung, which is also rung at daybreak, and curfew is when you have to go to bed. So there's also a bell telling the night, similar to how like a grandfather clock on the hour might ring out. And then he straight up just tells us, 'tis 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. They've been up all night preparing for this last second wedding. He commands, look to the baked meats, good Angelica. And that's unclear if that means Lady Capulet or if that means the nurse. We don't know either of their first name. One of them could be Angelica, and that's up to the director. When we read it here, we're going to get kind of confused. We'll go, wait a second, who's Angelica exactly? It's one of the reasons why reading this as a script can get us a little confused. But if we were to watch this as a play, the director, the actors would have just made a choice and said, you're Angelica. And it even could have just been a serving person. Spare not for cost, which means the cost is nothing. So go get us some baked meats because we need to eat. The nurse says, go, you cot queen, go. And cot queen is an old housewife. And she's saying this actually to Capulet because he is going about and he's the one trying to get everything all organized. And he even said that, he said, I'll play the housewife for this once. He said that 2 scenes ago. So he's in charge of the household. And so he's going to say, go, you old cot queen, go, which means go to. It's an expression of impatience or go about. He says, get you to bed. Faith, you'll be sick tomorrow for this night's watching. So faith is just, by faith, it's just a mild oath. You'll be sick tomorrow for this night's watching. And when you keep watch throughout the night, you are awake during the night. So he says, get to bed. Captain says, no, not a whit. What, I have watched ere now, all night for lesser cause and ne'er been sick. Remember, ere means before, so I've watched before now all night for a lesser cause. I've said to wake up all night for less important things, and I've never been sick. And Capulet's wife says, aye, you have been a mouse hunt in your time. And a mouse hunt is just an expression for a skirt chaser. He used to spend all night chasing the ladies. How would you know that without an annotation or for me to tell you? Good question. That's why it can be a little difficult on your own. But no worries, now you know that. So whenever you see a mouse hunt again, you'll know what that means. But I will watch you from such watching now. So she's teasing a little bit. Hey, I used to chase ladies, but I'm going to watch you to make sure that you are not watching, staying awake throughout the night, chasing ladies now. At which point Capulet's wife and the nurse leave. Now, was Capulet's wife accusing him of infidelity or anything? No, I think she's just kind of being a little playful. They're all excited. It's a wedding. Their sorrow is Tybalt's death is turning to joy because Juliet, their only daughter, is getting married. How exciting. Capulet says, a jealous hood, which means a jealous woman. And that could be an exclamation. It's probably a jealous hood. Just an expression saying, oh yeah, you're jealous of all these ladies, huh? So they're kind of a little bit of repartee. They're kind of going back and forth. At which point 3 or 4 serving men enter with spits and logs and baskets. And they're all getting ready for the wedding as well. He says, now, fellows, what is there? Asking what it is. First servant man says, "Things for the cook, sir, but I know not what." I don't know what they are. Captain says, make haste, hurry. And the first servant man exits. Sirrah, which is just lower class, sir. Sirrah, fetch drier logs. Call Peter. That's the servant who was attending the nurse earlier. Call Peter. He will show thee where they are. And the second servant says, I have a head, sir, that will find out logs, and never trouble Peter for the matter. So he's going to find out logs. He'll find out where the logs are without Peter's help. He's never going to trouble Peter for that matter. Exit the second serving man. The captain says, Mass, and well said, which means by the Mass, which is the Catholic liturgy. And he's laughing. A merry whoreson, ha! Son of a whore, rogue. It's affection. They're kind of being a little rough, a little bit familiar with one another, a little bit scoundrelly in their language, because they're all excited. A merry whoreson, ha! Thou shalt be loggerhead, which means wooden-headed. And he's playing on, hey, you have a head that finds out logs, you're going to be logger-headed. You're going to be wooden-headed. It's like calling someone a blockhead. Right? Again, he's just sort of joking around, punning. He's having a great time. Good Father, 'tis day, and that good Father, Heavenly Father, that's just another mild, good Father, it's day. The County Paris, will be here with music straight, for so he said he would. And at that point, as if on cue, playing music within. I hear him near. Nurse, wife, what ho? And again, that's not calling them hoes, that's just an expression of greeting. What, nurse, I say? And enters the nurse. Go, waken Juliet. Go and trim her up. Get her all dressed up, make up all the like. I'll go and chat with Paris. Hi, make haste. Make haste, the bridegroom. He is come already. Make haste, I say. So the nurse is going to go to the bed, which is covered with curtains. They don't know that Juliet is asleep under this potion, where she looks like she's dead. So she's going, Mistress, what? Mistress Juliet? And that's not a question, what? We know from earlier in the play that what is just a calling. Like, hey, it's no different. What? Mistress Juliet? Fast, I warrant her, she. Fast asleep, I warrant, meaning I bet her, she. Why, lamb? Why, lady? Fie, you slug-a-bed. And a slug-a-bed is just like a slug is very slow-moving. It's a slug-a-bed. It's like, you're being like a slug in the bed. Get out of bed. You're being slow. Because sluggish also means slow. You're slow to get out of bed. Fie, you slug-a-bed. Why, love, I say, madam, sweetheart. And she's just kind of shouting. Maybe she's shaking the curtains. Who knows? Why, bride? What? Not a word. You're not going to say anything? You take your penny's worth now. Your penny's worth is this small bit of worth of sleep, of rest now. Sleep for a week. For the next night, I warrant, I bet, the county Paris hath set up his rest, that you shall rest but little. God forgive me, she's making more jokes about Juliet doing the deed. County Paris has set up his rest, the rest of what he's going to get, that's going to have you, that will have you rest just a little. Which means that you're not going to rest a lot because you're going to be pretty physically active, giving him the rest of you. So she says, God forgive me. Mary and amen. Now she remarks to herself, how sound is she asleep? I needs must wake her. She says, Madam. Hi. Let the county take you in your bed. He'll fright you up in faith. Will it not be? And there it is. If let the county take you up in bed. Oh, well, let him catch you here in bed rather than all dressed up. But it also means let him take you in the bed. He'll fright you up. He'll frighten you and catching you here unprepared of faith. Will it not be? And she draws back the curtains. And this is she remarks to herself. What? Dressed and in your clothes and down again? Because Juliet did not change into her pajamas to drink this potion. She was wearing her clothes from last night. So the nurse falsely thinks that she got dressed in her clothes and then went back to sleep. I needs must wake you up. Lady. So that's going to be an actor's choice. All those ladies have to be different. Alas, help. Anytime you repeat words, I'm not really doing it right now, but just acting tip. You want those all to be different, right? So the lady. Alas, help! Right? It's maybe my acting's a little corny right now, but the point is, you want to be switching those up. It adds life to this because remember, these are words of people that people are supposed to be speaking. So she's calling my lady's dead. Oh, well a day. That means alas that ever I was born. Some aqua vitae. Oh, my lord, my lady. Some aqua vitae. Aqua vitae translates literally to life water. So get some water, and her captain's wife, what noise is here? Oh, lamentable day! What is the matter? Look Look, O heavy day! And she immediately clocks it. O me, my child, my only life. Revive, which means like come back to life. Revive, look up, or I will die with thee. Help, help, call help, and enter Capulet. And Capulet doesn't know what's going on yet, so he's going to say, for shame, bring Juliet forth. Her lord is come. We're being ashamed by not presenting Juliet yet. Paris is here. And the nurse cries, she's dead, deceased, she's dead, alack the day. Alack the day, she's dead, she's dead, she's dead. And Capulet doesn't believe this. Ha! Let me see her. Out. Alas, she's cold. Here it says that out means woe. Out could be out of life. Her blood is settled, like her blood's not flowing. Her joints are stiff. Life in these lips have long been separated. Death lies on her like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flower of all the field. So you can imagine there's a flower in the field, and it gets frosted too early. It's going to kill it. And so death is like that upon her. And the nurse cries, O lamentable day, O woeful time. Capulet remarks, death hath ta'en her hence to make me wail. Ties up my tongue and will not let me speak. So death's taken her, and death has tied up my tongue. If you're tongue-tied, you can't speak. Enter Friar Lawrence in County Paris. And Friar Lawrence is going to act like he is not aware of what's happening. And is it a little cruel? That's for you to decide. But he says, come, is the bride ready to go to church? And Capulet says, ready to go, but never to return. And this sort of cryptic way of saying this means that she's ready to go to church for her funeral, and she will not come back from the church because she's going to get buried, as a bride would go to the church, get married, and then come back. It says, O son, and this is down to Paris, the night before thy wedding day hath death lain with thy wife. There's this idea that it happens a couple times right here. Juliet oftentimes talks about this. All the way back when she first finds out that Romeo's Montague says, my wedding bed is like to be my grave. Or later on she says, if I am to remain a virgin, then I will, being apart from Romeo, then I will let death take me, and death will take my virginity. It's this idea that death has taken her so completely, body and soul, as in a way that only really a husband has. So death has lain with your wife, killed her. There she lies, flower as she was, deflowered by him. Deflowered, we know from the very first scene, means to take a virginity. The flower is a maidenhead, right? But death has essentially forcibly taken her virginity, taken away her life, really, her vitality. Now he's going to wax poetic a little bit. Death is my son-in-law. Death is my heir. My daughter he hath wedded. I will die and leave him all. Death has consumed everything that's important to me. Life, living, and by living means property, everything all I live by. All is death's. And Paris now speaks to Juliet. Have I thought, love, to see this morning's face? And doth it give me such a sight as this? Have I expected, love, to see this morning's face, and doth it give me such a sight as this? This is unexpected, I imagine he's saying. Caput's wife, accursed, unhappy, wretched, hateful day. Most miserable hour that e'er time saw in lasting labor of his pilgrimage. Time is making a pilgrimage, advancing onward, and this is the most miserable hour that he ever saw in his lasting labor. She imagines that time as a pilgrim. A pilgrim walks to a holy site, and so time is ever marching forward, and it's a lasting, which means enduring or unceasing labor, because he's walking. But this is the worst hour he's ever seen. But one poor and loving child, but one thing to rejoice and solace in. So this is the one good thing in my life. And cruel death hath catched it from my sight. It's actually kind of funny how Capulet has this reflection on how death is his son-in-law, death takes everything, and Capulet's wife is just, it's the one thing I took refuge in, the one thing I loved. And Nurse, she has no poetry. She just says, oh woe, oh woeful, woeful, woeful day, most lamentable day, most woeful day that ever I did yet behold. Oh day, oh day, oh day, oh hateful day, never was seen so black a day as this. Oh woeful day, oh woeful day. Lots of repetition. She is not a wordsmith. That being said, this is probably played pretty sadly. Paris now has his beguiled, which means cheated, divorced, wronged, spited, which is injured, slain. These are all the ways that he has been treated. He's been cheated, he's been divorced because death has taken his wife. He's been wronged, he's been spited, he's been slain himself because he really loves Juliet. Most detestable death, by thee beguiled, cheated. Most by cruel thee quite overthrown. O love, O life, not life, but love in death. His love, his life. Juliet is in death. He was despised, distressed, hated, martyred, killed, uncomfortable time that gives no comfort. Why camest thou now to murder our solemnity? And a solemnity is not solemn, it is rather a high festival. Come to murder our solemnity. And you might ask, why does that mean the exact opposite? You have to know and understand that in the Catholic Church, solemnities, which are very serious days, are days of big celebration, like Christmas or Easter. So when it's a solemn occasion, it really can mean it's of super importance. We just tend to equate seriousness with solemnity, when really it should be festivity with serious. The most serious things are worth celebrating. And so he's using that with this wedding. So he's wondering why time came now to murder them right when we were having a party. O child, my soul, and not my child. And he says, in the footnote here says she's not his child because she's dead and only a corpse. And my child, dead art thou. Alack, my child is dead, and with my child my joys are buried. And one can only really just feel a lot of pathos. Number one, parents burying a child. Absolute tragedy. It's just not the way that it should go. No parent should ever have to bury their child. But especially, you consider the day before, all the threats that Capulet just laid upon Juliet. Marry him, or you'll never see me again. You'll never be in my house again. And those are the very things that then led her to take these actions. One almost has to be like, Capulet, if you were just like a little bit cooler of a dad, if you just acted a little bit more like you did at the beginning of the play, maybe she wouldn't have had to take these measures. You'd still have her. And it's really sad. It's really sad, especially because they're going to lose her not once but twice, as they're going to find out later. Friar Lawrence says, peace, ho, for shame. Essentially saying, like, stop all of these emotions. Confusion's care, destruction's care, lives not in these confusions, in these commotions. Heaven and yourself had part in this fair maid. Now heaven hath all. Heaven gave her soul and helped create her, and yourself had part in this fair maid. So humans are made of body and soul. You gave her body. Heaven, God, gave her soul. Now heaven hath all of her. And all the better is it for the maid. It's better to be in heaven, right? She's in a better place. Your part in her you could not keep from death. You gave her mortality, not immortality. So you couldn't keep that from death. But heaven keeps his part in eternal life, the immortal soul. The most you sought was her promotion. The highest good that you wanted for her was her social advancement, her promoting. For 'twas your heaven, your highest ambition, that she should be advanced. And weep ye now, seeing she is advanced above the clouds, as high as heaven itself, saying all the things that you wanted for, all these goods, to find a good station, to marry higher than her station, to advance socially. That was your highest aim for her. And now you're going to be upset that she has had the real, only really truly mattering advancement ever, which is that she is promoted, essentially, to heaven. This is how we do comfort people now. Hey, they're in a better place, right? Don't be sad because they're with God now. They're in heaven now, right? This is the way that a lot of times we comfort each other. But it is Friar Lawrence, and he always likes to kind of scold overwhelming emotion, as we've seen with Romeo prior. Oh, in this love, you love your child so ill that you run mad, seeing that she is well. She's well because she's in heaven. So you're loving your child ill, poorly, because you're weeping, you're going mad with your emotions, when she's actually in a better place. She's not well married that lives married long, but she's best married that dies married young. So essentially there it's like, hey, a good life doesn't necessarily come from years. Right? A good marriage doesn't come from being married for a very long time. There's lots of very long-lasting marriages that are not happy. But she's best married that dies married young. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what that means. It could very much be like only the good die young. There's this idea of you can die before you have time for the marriage to go bad, or you can die before you fall into some sin and lose heaven. There's an idea that there is a sort of advantage to dying young and innocently. So he's consoling them with those. It says, dry up your tears and stick your rosemary on this fair corpse. And rosemary is a symbol of remembrance. So it'd be appropriate for a funeral. So stick your rosemary on this fair corpse, and as the custom is, in her best array clothing, bear her to church. For though some nature bids us all lament, some human nature, so though there is some human nature that bids us, that commands us to lament, to be sorrowful, and that's right and proper. Yet nature's tears are reason's merriment. These very tears are reason, when you're thinking clearly, merriment. They laugh at how stupid we're being for crying over her being so great. So there's this. He's really just saying, like, look, she's in a better place. And Caput says, all things that we ordained festival turn from their office, from their function, to black funeral. So this party that they had celebrated for a wedding, they're now going to just turn it all on its head, and it's now going to be for a funeral. Our instruments to melancholy bells, our wedding cheer to a sad burial feast, our solemn hymns to sullen dirges change. And then solemn here could mean ceremonial, but it also could be just like important, serious, which we're supposed to be jovial because it's a wedding, are now going to turn to a dirge, which is a funeral lament. Our bridal flowers serve for a buried corpse, and all things change them to the contrary. For Ireland says, Sir, go you in, and Madam, go with him. And go, Sir Paris. Everyone prepare to follow this fair corpse unto her grave. The heavens do lower, which is hang threatening, upon you for some ill, some offense. Move them no more by crossing their high will. So the heavens do lower, they hang threateningly upon you for some ill. You have committed some offense, and thus your daughter has been taken. So do not move the heavens, do not move them to anger anymore by crossing their high will, by disobeying them in preventing this funeral. And what is that ill? Is he lying? Is he just heaping it on? He's kind of speaking true, right? It is all of their actions, not listening to Juliet, this ancient grudge. This ancient grudge is the reason why she's dead. It leads to the reason why she's gonna die. So it is kind of true that the heavens, or fate, is punishing them for this offense. Had they not this grudge, had they not done all these things, Juliet would still be with him. So is he just the world's best actor? Is he telling the truth? Well, to be most believable, it's probably a little bit of both. And they're going to exit all but the nurse and enter 3 musicians. So the nurse is still very upset, and now the musicians come in. And this is a little bit of levity, because the low-class characters, are, especially when it's just like serving man, musician, these types of things, are usually played up a little bit for laughs. A little bit of levity after a pretty dark scene of parents lamenting the death of their child. So the first musician says, Faith, we may put up our pipes and be gone. We may pack up our pipes and leave. And the nurse says, Honest, good fellows, put up, for well you know this is a pitiful case. So yeah, pack up, you know this is sad. And the musicians are just saying we can pack up and leave. First musician, by my troth, by my truth, the case may be amended. It's that things could be better. Right, this is a beautiful case, this is a beautiful instant, or pitiful instant. And he says the case may be amended. He's saying, you're right, like an instrument case that an instrument goes in can be repaired. Is in poor condition. So he's essentially agreeing, yep, the case could be amended. Things could be better. And the nurse leaves, enter Peter. And Peter just say, musicians, Heart's Ease. And that's a popular song. So he's saying, play Heart's Ease. Heart's Ease. And you will have me, live, play Heart's Ease. This, if you want to do me a great service, and if you will have me get what I need to live, play Heart's Ease. And the first musician asks, why Heart's Ease? He says, musicians, because my heart itself plays, my heart is full. And so just by context clues, my guess is my heart is full of sorrow. So he says, my heart is full, play me some merry dump to comfort me. Some merry, sad tune. So Heart's Ease is one of those things where it's probably like a little bittersweet. I actually don't know what the song sounds like. So if my heart is playing a really sad song, so play like a bittersweet song to comfort me. And musician says, not a dump we, not a sad song we. 'Tis no time to play now, right? It's sad now. It says, you will not play. He says, no. And Peter says, I will then give it you soundly, which means thoroughly and in sound. And the first musician doesn't know what he means. He says, what will you give us? And Peter says, no money on my faith, so I'm not going to give you money, but the gleek. And to give the gleek, it means to make a fool of or play a trick on. I will give you the minstrel, which is, I'm going to give you the title of a minstrel. And this is an insult. I will insultingly call you a minstrel, not a musician. And the first musician is going to counter this. Then will I give you the serving creature. Two can play this game. If you're going to call me the minstrel, which would be a derogatory thing for a musician, I will call you the serving creature, which is derogatory for a serving man. Then I will lay the serving creature's dagger on your pate. The serving creature's dagger, literally a dagger on your pate, is your head. I will carry no crotchets. Carry means bear, and crotchets is whimsy, but also quarter nose. I'll ray you, I'll fa you. Do you note me? And note is a pun, meaning heed. Do you note what I'm saying? Are you taking note of what I'm saying? But it's also music notes. Because I'll ray you is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'll fa you. Do you note me? And you ray us and fa us, you note us. You as you give us this ray and this fa, you give notes to us. And the second music is pray you, put up your dagger and put out your wit. Which means okay, put up your dagger, put it up and show us your wit. Then have at you with my wit. I will dry beat you with an iron wit and put up my iron dagger. Answer me like men. So they are going to fight. And he sings, when griping griefs the heart doth wounds, then music with her silver sound. And these are lines from the song In Commendation of Music by Richard Edwards. And then he asks, why silver sound? Why music with her silver sound? What say you, Simon Catling? And catling is a catgut used for stringed instruments. A lot of times, these various men, one of these men, apparently the first musician, his name is Simon Catling. And this could just be a nickname, or actually his name. Marry, sir, because silver hath a sweet sound. So he's saying, why is it called music with a silver sound? So they're having kind of a battle of wits. Not actually fighting. Peter says, prates, which means chatter. That's not a good answer. What say you, Hugh Rebeck? And a rebec is a three-stringed instrument. So these could be their actual names, but he's also giving them all instrument names, which is kind of weird to be like, that's actually your name. Although that actually could be how it is, because after all, that's where last names, a lot of them come from. If your last name is Smith, your ancestors were a blacksmith. Those types of things. So it is very possible. Second is, I say silver sound because musicians sound for silver. They make sounds to get paid. And Peter says, prates too, which means just more chatter. What say you, James Soundpost? Soundpost is a supporting peg fixed between the sounding board and the back of a stringed instrument. So again, another sound instrument related thing. And the third mission is, faith, I know not what to say. I don't know why silver is called silver sound. And Peter says, oh, I cry you mercy, I beg your pardon. You are the singer. I will say for you. It is music with her silver sound because musicians have no gold for sounding. They have no gold for playing. They are poor and they have no gold to jingle. A little bit of insult. And he sings, then music with her silver sound with speedy help doth lend redress. He sings some more. And he leaves. This is that very wit. When he says, I will dry beat you with an iron wit, he then sang this song and asked them this question so he could make fools of them. It's a very clownish thing to do. A lot of the humor is kind of lost on us because it's a lot of just punning. I'm going to ask you this, and I'm going to ask you this. So that fight that I referred to earlier refers to a battle of wits. And he did kind of make a fool of them because he says, hey, why is it called silver sound? Nope, that's not it. How about you? Nope, that's not it. How about you? You don't know? I'll tell you. It's because you're all poor and you don't have any money. And then he leaves. And he says, what a pestilent. Pestilent means like sickly. Knave, coward, insult. Is this same? Is the same man? Hang him, Jack. It's sort of just like a curse. Hang him, literally hang him by a noose. Jack, man. So it's just a maledictory oath, meaning an oath that wills ill upon someone else. Kind of like when people, I don't want to say the term, but when we wish ill upon other people. Hang him, Jack. Come, we'll in here, tarry for the mourners, and stay dinner. So they're gonna go inside and they're gonna tarry for the mourners. And they're going to await dinner. And that is the end of Act 4. We only have 3 scenes left. And 1 and 2 are pretty quick. So we are almost to the end. Juliet's going to go get buried. Romeo's in Mantua. He has to learn about the friar's plan. They could make it away scot-free. Will they? Find out later. We'll see you then.